miserable. I'm Martin Hoke, inventor of Navage, the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, helping to flush out allergens, mucus, and germs. Here's a testimonial from a verified purchaser and a big Navage fan. Quote, I've been suffering for 30 years with chronic sinus infections and allergies. I stumbled across Navage. The suction is amazing. It cleared my sinus cavities better than anything I've tried before. Unquote. Navage has over 120,000 reviews with a 4.6-star average written by people who use Navage to breathe better, snore less, and feel healthier. Wash your body's air filter with Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Another bus with migrants from Texas arrives in L.A.
The bus, which left Brownsville, Texas on Wednesday morning and arrived early Thursday, pulling into L.A.'s Union Station with 23 adults and 13 children on board, ranging from 2 to 17 years old, is the sixth bus to arrive in L.A. with migrants on board, paid for by Texas. California has said it's investigating the buses and what migrants are told to board. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says the migrants want to come to L.A. because of services that are available to them here. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Bookstore owners in Texas filing suit ahead of a new law soon to take effect.
Doing business at Blue Willow Bookshop in Houston is pretty simple.
You come in the bookstore, you request a book. I'm not going to question you. I'm going to order it for you,
says owner Valerie Kaler. But a new state law will require her to evaluate and to rate the books she sells to schools for adult content. That's about 20% of her business. The statute does not define what's appropriate, so she's joined with other stores, the American Booksellers Association, and the Association of American Publishers in a lawsuit against the state of Texas. They say the new statute is too vague and may violate the First Amendment. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
United Airlines now the first U.S. carrier to add Braille signs to seat numbers and lavatories to their planes. The airline has about a dozen planes with Braille play cards and plans to use them in the entire fleet by 2026. This is ABC News.
Build the custom home of your dreams with Adair Homes. Take advantage of their limited-time offer of 4.875% interest rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage when you finance with Adair Financial Services. That's up to $1,200 savings each month. Visit ADAIRhomes.com to find out more. 4.875 interest rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage with a 4.949 APR. Other restrictions apply. Visit AdairHomes.com for additional disclosures. Adair Financial Services, NMLS number 4586.
Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
End-of-life decisions are hard. Be it pre-planning or sudden loss, you need to have an advocate in your corner, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend Drennan & Ford Funeral Home and Crematory in Port Angeles, the only locally owned funeral home and crematory in Clallam County. Their expertise ensures a smooth process so you can focus on healing and being with your loved ones. Their help through the darkest time in my life will forever stay with me. Call 360-457-1210.
At Olympic Peninsula Title, old-fashioned customer service never goes out of style. We've been closing real estate transactions in Clallam County for 40 years and have earned the repeat business of our customers. We treat people with respect, do what we say, put the security of our customers' funds and information as priority number one, and always provide service with a smile. When it's time to choose a title company to close your transaction, opt for Olympic Peninsula Title. See why we've been voted best title company in Clallam County over and over again.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate Outstanding Agents. Outstanding results, 457-6600. Travelers along the Hood Canal on Highway 101 in Jefferson County should take note of a culvert replacement detour starting Monday and lasting for 22 days. Starting Monday, Highway 101 will close a few miles north of Quilcene. The road will remain closed until 7 p.m. on Monday, August 21st. And don't forget, closer to home, the first of a multi-year project to correct 6 culverts under 101 in Clallam County takes place at Eagle Creek. That's right near the county line at Diamond Point. There'll be a week-long around-the-clock reduction to a single lane going through that work site beginning August 13th through the 18th.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast. Highs level off around 68 this afternoon under mainly sunny skies, northwest winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear again tonight, 53. A mix of clouds and sun tomorrow. Highs level off around 68. Temperatures below average Saturday and Sunday with highs in the mid-60s. Chance for scattered showers Sunday. I'm weatherology meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 69 degrees.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
We got a busy show today. We're going to be talking about stamp collecting. We're going to be talking with a jazz artist, Diane Shore, who's coming to town this weekend. And we'll also be giving you your business bits for the week with our business guru later on in the program. So stick around, lots to go through, including in our first segment, Judy Newbloom and also Bruce Halstead join us. They are back to talk about, so we were just joking, it seems like it can't be a year since we chatted with you, but here we go. The Straight Stamp Show is coming up a week from Saturday, August 5th, down in Squim at the Guy Cole Event Center. And thanks both of you for coming in. Great to see you both again. Thanks as always.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate that.
Let's, Judy, give us the nuts and the bolts. It's coming up a week from Saturday.
And it's a special year. It's our 50th anniversary of the club itself.
Which that is hard to believe as well.
It is because one of our members is the only founding member around.
Wow.
And she doesn't look like it's been 50 years.
And we'll get into this a little bit. How long have you been in the Straight Stamps Club?
Not that long, actually.
Yeah.
I was thinking around 2017 or 18.
Okay. And Bruce Halstead is here as well. Bruce, how long you been in the group?
I guess maybe 10 years
okay.
now. Yeah.
You're both very involved, though, when the show comes along, and not only with displays, helping organize it and all that as well. And it's always fun to have you on because I think people, soon realize that this is kind of a fun thing, even if you're not a stamp collector, to come check out. Correct, Bruce?
Exactly, yeah. You don't have to be a stamp collector to come and watch all these people do their silly things with these little bitty pieces of paper in front of them, waving them around. And it's fun putting the exhibits together to entertain people with that, to educate them a little bit, show what you're interested in and what you can do with the stamps.
I always ask you this, I would. How long have you been stamp collecting, Bruce?
Oh, I started when I was a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
So that was about 65, 70 years ago.
Right on. What got you started? Was that a Boy Scout project, or how did you get,
That was one of the merit badges you need to become as you work up the ranks. And I thought, well, that'll be an easy one. And it just turned out to be fascinating to me. And here I am.
Almost like it's designed that way, the Boy Scouts, right? You have to do these certain things, and you catch them on as a hobby or something like that. Judy, what about you? How long have you been collecting?
I'm kind of a newbie, probably about 15 years. So it's really nice to be able to ask all these experts questions, and they don't mind. I'll just say, now, what does this mean? Because there's a whole vocabulary these weird stamp collectors use, and I've learned so much since I've been going to the meetings.
How did you get started? Was there an event, something that got you to where you?
My background is dealing with lighthouses, and so we had a lighthouse club in Colorado.
Of all places,
yes,
right?
And we had this lady come talk to us. And she had been a collector and everything, and she introduced us, and we thought, oh, lighthouse stamps, and that kind of got a few of us started. And that was probably 15 years or 20 years ago. Yeah.
So how many lighthouse stamps have you collected, would you say? That's a
gosh,
a loaded
I haven't
question,
counted them, but quite a few, but there's a lot to collect.
The only reason I bring it up is, I think most people are pretty familiar that there's a ton of lighthouse stamps. I mean, it seems like that might be one of the more, I don't want to say popular, but diverse, perhaps.
Right. Well, and USA has done a series of 5 lighthouse stamps each time. Whereas you think, oh, that's not too many. But then you look at the lighthouse stamps from other countries.
Right.
And there's hundreds.
And so you do international collecting too, then?
Yes.
Yeah, any sort of a lighthouse stamp is good for you.
Exactly, yes.
Right, yeah. What's your most cherished stamp right now, if you had one?
I don't know. How
That's
can you
answer.
pick something when you love
them?
them?
Yeah, love them all, right?
Yeah.
So, is there one though that is kind of the epitome of trying to find that's just so rare that your hobby would be complete if you could find this one?
Oh, yeah. Well, I've got all the ones from the U.S.
Yeah.
And just can't think of any.
That's a fair question.
I know that I probably will never have every stamp that's ever.
Yeah. Well, and as we just
Have
pointed out,
lighthouse.
there's so many lighthouse stamps. They seem to be a popular
Plus,
thing
if
for
you
a
have
stamp.
other interests too.
Right.
So then you're collecting multiple types of stamps.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay, Bruce, over to you. And forgive me, I forgot you had. What is your kind of specialty that you tend to go towards?
Well, I'm a biologist, so I
Right.
look for the fish and wildlife and plants and landscape kind of stamps. I really enjoy those. And almost every country you look at around the world
Yeah.
has picked up on that, and I just can't get enough of that.
So I'll ask you the same question. I mean, is there an epitome of a wildlife stamp you're still looking for right now?
Well, no, but to answer the next question you're going to ask me, I really love the stamps that the U.S. put out about 10, 15 years ago about the states and their flower and their bird.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
50.
I
So they
remember
made
that.
a
Yeah.
series of 50 stamps, and it had the bird and the flower for that state on it. I can't get enough of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I every now and then a country will come out with something like that, but nothing like what the United States did.
So that leads me to this next question. You both can chime in on this because this is what the straight stamp shows a bit about is where do you get stamps now that are of that? I mean, a couple of things. We don't mail things nearly as we used to. Stamps now we have the, always stamp basically, which are quite frankly oftentimes pretty mundane, if you will. It's a flag and that's about it. Yeah. So we don't really have the the push, if you will, of stamps. So Bruce, what do you do? How do you find your stamps now?
Well, one of the places is a straight stamp show.
Yeah.
We have we're going to have how many dealers? 8?
7.
7 dealers there, from usually close to the area here, but they pull in stamps from here, there, and everywhere, and it's amazing. I can't believe how many stamps these people have.
Yeah.
I thought I had a lot of stamps, but they have millions of stamps, and you ask them, have you heard of this stamp here? And, oh yeah, I got one of those, and they shuffle through their drawers and come out, and here it is, sure enough. And then not only the stamp dealers, but if you would just want to sit home and pick and choose, eBay.
Sure. Okay.
It's a tremendous place to find.
So really, the collectors such as you folks have kept this alive, even though maybe there's not the thrust of new stamps coming into the market. Although there still are, I know that there are, but this kind of has continued because I think it's an unfair thing. People saying, well, it's kind of a dead hobby because nobody's mailing things like they used to, but that may not be true. It almost might have taken on a different nuance.
Well, that's another thing that we collect. They're called covers, which are envelopes, and they have the stamp, and they have sometimes a pretty design, which they call a cachet. And those dealers will have boxes and boxes of covers that you go through. And we always make a cover for the show, and each year. And we have various topics that we have used in the past.
This is, by the way, the 29th that Stamp Society's been at the Straight Stamp. Your club's 50 years old, but this is the 29th run of the show.
It is. So
which is pretty amazing
special.
as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That said, what is the? You guys do some special cancellations and things. Is that still coming back this year?
Sure.
Sometimes people will come in and get
In
this.
fact, we had this design made.
Oh, okay. This is the 50th logo
50th
thing, right?
Straight
Okay.
Stamp Society, 50 years.
Okay.
So that's going to be the theme.
And
And
that'll be the
that means
cancellation.
cake.
Oh, yeah, okay. Cake, refreshments, all decorated
Balloons,
of that.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
All
we have a
right, so-
lady in our club. In our club, that's an excellent baker. She brings cookies every meeting, and she's going to make a great big carrot cake to pass
Very
around.
nice,
for
complete
people.
with a logo and all of
Oh,
that
yeah,
jazz on
yeah.
it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. I'll just ask this to both of you: why would somebody want to come to this show if they've never been to one of these before? What's in it for them? Especially as you mentioned, if you're not a collector, you might leave being a collector. I think might be part of the answer to that. Correct, Bruce?
Yeah, we have tables spread around there, free stamps. If you're a youngster, say under 21, you get a batch of free stamps when you come in. You register, and there's a penny table, what we call a penny table. It's just thousands and thousands of stamps that you can just thumb through and take a look if you see anything that catches your fancy. And that's kind of how I got restarted. I was out of stamp collecting for a while, and I went to the stamp show and I started collecting. I thought, I got to do this. And people will just pick up on it and go from there, little by little, by little by leap.
Yeah. Next thing you know, you're well beyond penny stamps, right?
Yeah. Oh, you don't have to spend a lot of money on stamps.
Right.
There's so many stamps. It's prolific.
And Judy, as you pointed out too, it's not just stamps. I mean, it's some nice cards, things like that fall into this,
Postcards are
right?
also part of this collection. But I forgot what I was going to say about that. Oh, you get hooked when you go in there. You don't have to be a stamp collector, but just be curious. Go in there and wonder what is this all about, and it kind of hooks you right in, doesn't it? And if you're a history buff, wow, there's so much history in collecting. And the nice thing about stamps are they're beautiful. The artwork and everything on stamps as compared to coins. I used to collect coins.
Stamps are a little bit
they're
arty.
prettier.
Right. Got some colors and all of that.
But you can just make all kinds of stories, and that's what exhibiting's about too. And we're going to have exhibits.
Right. Bruce, you've got an exhibit. You're going to have an exhibit set up. What are you going to be showing?
Well, I've been doing some traveling since I retired, and last January I took my kids and we went down to Antarctica for 3 weeks. And so I put together a stamp display of a couple of plates of Antarctic stamps, and it's really interesting, the history of Antarctica. It's fairly recent history compared to the rest of the stamp world, but to learn all this stuff and see it put on stamps is really something unusual. And hopefully I've got a nice display that will get people's interest on, this is really Antarctica, this is what really goes on down there, this is really what happened.
So I got to ask you this. People are saying, well, Antarctica, where did you get the stamps for that? Are these like Chilean, South America? Where are they using stamps that are focused on Antarctica?
Well, just about every country that has anything to do with Antarctica
has done
stamps,
a series of
some stamps together. And I went on eBay and found them, and here I've got a whole collection of them from around the world.
I love it. Yeah,
Antarctic section of their country.
And that just shows you that's just another thing you've moved into as well. And that's probably, maybe not to put words in your mouth, but that's why you like this hobby, because it can be fluid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's no rules. When you stamp collect, there's no rules. You make your own rules. You do it however you want.
Can this is a loaded question, but people could show up at the show and say, how do I get started? And there'll be folks there that could tell you just what you really need or don't need to get going. Because I think maybe some people think they got to have a whole bunch of tools and all of that stuff. You don't really need all of that.
No. Actually, the first tool you probably buy is what? A tweezer?
Yeah, a pair of tweezers.
Yeah, there you go. You may already have that in your medicine cabinet, right? Yeah. Okay. Before we run out of time, favorite thing about the hobby, what keeps you going? Judy, what do you like most about stamp collecting? And
I probably like exhibiting, even though I'm not doing it this year.
Yeah.
I just like to get my stamps and covers out and put them together so people can appreciate what's out there and the history behind it. That's what it's about for me.
All right. Bruce, same question.
Well, I'm a traveler. I love to travel. I traveled when I worked, and I travel now that I'm retired. And when I get in front of my stamps and I go through them, I'm traveling. All of a sudden I'm in Nigeria, and the next page I'm in Nepal, and the next page I'm in another country, and it just and a lot of them I've been to, so it brings back fond memories of my visits to these other countries. And I go to some and I haven't been there. I think I'm gonna have to go there.
Yeah.
It just excites you.
Got to get me a couple of stamps from that place, right?
Yeah.
Right. All right. So this is August 5th, 9:30 to 5. This is at the Guy Cole Center down at Carrie Blake Park, the Straight Stamp Show. And as we just pointed out, if you've never even seen a stamp exhibit, this is worth popping in, because you can't beat the price. It's free to get in. They've got, as you mentioned, the penny table. They have the postal service will be there on premises to do some cancellations, right? Free stamps for kids. Dealers. So if you are, or maybe you even have acquired a bunch of stamps, maybe in an estate or something, bring them along,
bring
right?
In. If grandma's passed away and left you some stamps you don't know what to do with, bring them in. We have several people do that every stamp show.
Exactly.
Bring them in, and they work with the dealers, and work something out.
And I know as stamp collectors, the worst thing you like to say, would hate to hear people, we just threw those out.
Yeah.
Oh, that must kill you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Bring them down to the show. You could probably get a couple of dollars for those as well. Door prizes. They'll have snacks, as you mentioned. There's some refreshments that'll be there as well. So it should be a really good time. And congratulations on half a century in the having the society and going as well. I know you two haven't been in there that long, but thanks for coming down, and good luck. Not this Saturday, week from Saturday.
Week from Saturday.
All right.
August 5th. Yep.
All right. Thanks, Bruce. Bruce Halstead, Judy Newblum. That's they're both with the Straight Stamp Society and the 29th Annual Straight Stamp Show, August 5th, down at the Guy Cole Center in Sequim. We're going to take a break. We're going to be talking a little bit about one of the grand opening artists coming to perform at the new Field Arts and Events Hall. We'll do that right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg salutes our military veterans, active duty, and first responders each and every day. This isn't a special or a one-time deal. 365 days a year, Red Carpet offers 10% off all services to this special group. Please let them know who you are so they can honor you. And for Purple Heart recipients, you'll receive a free wash anytime, every day. Please accept our appreciation for your service and sacrifice. Red Carpet Car Wash, open Monday through Sunday, 8 till 5.
Hi, this is Steve Rader Ginsburg, Executive Director at Field Arts and Events Hall. Coming up is our grand opening celebration on July 29th and 30th in Port Angeles. You don't want to miss this. We have Grammy Award-winning headliners to free outdoor performances and a community stage. There will be something for everyone at this historic event. Learn more and get your tickets at www.fieldhallevents.org. That's fieldhallevents.org.
Sponsored by Radio Pacific, News Radio KONP.
Stick out your tongue and say, it's the craziest thing you ever saw. Here at Olympic Game Farm, they say howdy with a wave of a paw. Now it's hard to steer clear of the elk and the deer when they pop in to say hello. They've got lions and tigers and bears. Don't forget about the buffalo. It's impossible to say calm. So come out with your dad and your mom. Canine and feline, you'll find us online at onlygamefarm.com.
Action-packed excitement is back again with the 2023 Steel American Sprint Boat Racing Series. 2-day racing at the Extreme Sports Park happens Saturday, July 29th and Sunday the 30th. One of our main sponsors, Lower Elwha Food and Fuel, will once again be hosting this year's show and shine on Friday, July 28th from 4 till 6:30, open to the public. We've had so much success with so many generous sponsors that we're now able to host 2-day race events. Visit our website, extremesportspark.net, for tickets and more details.
Hey everyone, it's Leslie Robertson from the Chamber of Commerce, and who wants to go roller skating? That's right, the Olympic Skate Village is open now until August 14th. We're open daily from noon to 10 p.m. with 3 skate sessions a day. For special events, themed skate nights, local celebrity DJ appearances, and a whole lot of other fun, visit our website, olympicskatevillage.com. You can also visit the website to sign up to volunteer at the rink. And for every shift you work, you get a free skate ticket. Remember, we cannot do this amazing community event without you. So once again, for special events, to volunteer, and all the other information, visit olympicskatevillage.com. And don't forget to sign your waiver in advance online as well. Olympic Skate Village, open now until August 14th.
Well, I met him on the corner. It was pouring rain. Yes, I met him on the corner. It was pouring rain. He said, come on in here, baby, and tell me what's your name. I said, Tito's. Tito's is my name. I said, Tito's. Tito's is my name. I don't know how I got here, but I'm mighty glad I came.
The great music there of jazz legend and Northwest Grammy Award winner Diane Shure. And she's a real big part of Port Angeles this week. She's going to be help open up Field Arts and Events Hall, the first public ticketed events that are happening there at the Field Hall and their grand opening. She's going to be playing a couple of shows on Friday night and also on Saturday afternoon at that wonderful new facility in Port Angeles. And we have a chance to sit down and talk a bit with Diane Shore, Deedles, as she says I can call her that during the interview today. So Deedles, thanks for coming on. Great to have you on board. And I guess I should say happy birthday. We get a chance to kick off a great birthday celebration with you out here in a brand new facility. So tell us tell us about what's coming this weekend.
Well, we're going to, the day after we fly in, we're going to do rehearsal and all that good stuff with the guys and, just get ready to put on a really cool show, so really looking forward to it. Do you have any specific song selections that you're, actually really excited to put on for us or anything like that? Yeah, well, I'm starting out with Deedles Blues, and we're doing things like Deedles Blues, like I just mentioned. Mm-hmm. And I'll be telling a story, riding with Count Basie's orchestra, on the bus, on the big bus. Second one is, what a difference a day makes. Okay. And I don't know, that's so strange because it didn't pick up very well. I don't know what I did. What a difference a day makes, Dinah Washington's story, In the Closet. Well, that's where I was when I, started experimenting with vocalizing. So, and then 3 is Music Is My Life, and that, and the tribute to Ahmet Ertegun, and that was on Atlantic Records. But I'm also going to be talking about Carol Coates, who wrote Music Is My Life. He's 93 now. Wow. And of course, when I met him and got to know him really well, it's half a lifetime ago. What a trip, huh? No kidding. And then I don't know if you want me to go through these in order. Just a little flavor. The reason I asked you about it is because what's special about this is that this is more than just a concert. I hate to say it that way, but we're really going to get a chance to take a retrospect into your career. You've put together a show that really tells the story of Diane Shore over the years. I know it. I know it's really amazing. I tell you. I'm not ashamed to sing the blues is another tune, and Love Dance, the story about Stan Getz and where we met and all that stuff. It's amazing. And you have had the opportunity, Deedles, to talk to perform with so many people and to so many great folks. As you look back on your career, what do you think? I mean, what's your reflection on all of these years? And then, especially when you put a show together like this and go, wow, well, yeah, I did that, and well, I got to do that, and I got to do that. I mean, it's really pretty incredible. It is, and I've never done a show quite like this, as far as being able to put together a montage, if that's a word, of tunes over the years that I've done and that I've loved. I'm amazed. My sister, Elizabeth, we call her Buzzy, she's going to be there that night with her very special guy, and she doesn't know it. She probably won't hear this anyway, but I'm doing a very special song for her, that one of the tunes that she loves so much is I'll Close My Eyes. And that, of course, comes from an album called Queen with Quincy, which, Quincy Jones put out an album with Dinah Washington back in the 50s, and that was one of the songs, and I thought, oh, man, I'd love to record that someday, which I did with the help of Dave Grusin and 20 strings, and, I mean, it's from the album Deedles anyway, so... reflect back on kind of how you got started. Did you intend this happening? I mean, I usually ask an artist this question, and they just, their career just sort of unfolds. It's not really been I said I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that and do that. It just kind of happened. I know. As you may know, my first gig was at age 10 at the Holiday Inn. It's in the Tacoma area. Actually, it's in a little town called Fife, Washington, and it's from right across the street from a restaurant called the Poodle Dog. Whole thing. And what an auspicious start, right? And I still have September in the Rain, the original recording of September in the Rain that I did with, pretty cool, you know.
Yeah.
And with two guys, Joe and Jack, a drummer and a piano player, no bass.
Right, and that's it, right? Yeah.
That's it.
Which is terrific, and I think it just shows just what an amazing talent you are, and you've actually hooked up with some pretty amazingly talented other folks as well, to say the least.
It's amazing.
So fast forward here, you get this inquiry, if you will, to come to this crazy new place that they're building in Port Angeles, of all places. What were your thoughts about that? What made you what factored into it? Because this really is the kickoff of what is kind of a tour for you.
I know. It's one thing that I'm really fascinated about is that there's going to be a house blessing by the different tribes, I guess, the night before our first performance, and I'm so jazzed about that. I think that's just the neatest thing. I'm sure we'll feel lots of energy about the present groups, and also about maybe some of their ancestors will show up. You never know. And I'm just really, and it's the Field. What is the name of that?
It's Field Arts and Events Hall.
Field Arts and Events Hall. That is just so cool. I mean, to be able to christen that wonderful venue, you know, from what my manager tells me, what Nancy tells me, it's just gorgeous. So
you're going to love it.
Okay, girlfriend's word for it.
You should. You're going to love it. It is beautiful in there. It's amazing that Port Angeles is so lucky to get a facility like that, and to get somebody of your caliber to come up and help show off just how great it is as well. Have you ever been to Port Angeles? Have you even played up here ever, and even as a side thing?
I have.
Okay.
It was in the way early days. My drummer, my twin brother, used to play drums for fun, and before he got into flying for the FAA. And but yeah, we went to. We did a couple of gigs in Port Angeles.
Okay.
I think I was underage.
So it's been a while.
It has, definitely been a while. And I guess we were in between, and I guess a couple people got into a fight. Not a physical fight, but there was a vocal confrontation.
Well, we're going to keep it. We'll keep it at a dull roar for you this at these shows you're doing up here this time. How about that?
Oh, I'm not worried about it. I just thought I'd bring that up in context, you know.
Before we wrap up, how do you some people know Diane Shore and things like that, but how do you describe your your style, your approach, if you will, as an artist after all these years?
Well, my style, oh, don't worry about that. That was my Roku going into screensaver. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I not only have one Roku, I have 5. So, but anyway, getting back to my style is kind of a assessment of a lot of different artists packed into one individual voice, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I have elements of, Dinah Washington, Ella Fitzgerald, Nancy Wilson, Patti Page, Kay Starr, Edie Gourmet, especially during a Torch song. I mean, I've listened to them all. Barbra Streisand, as many female vocalists as I possibly could. Growing up, it's amazing. It really is.
Well, we are very excited to have you up here and to experience this live and in person for ourselves. And I think we all need to say happy birthday. Thanks for making your 70th a big deal so that we get a chance to have you up here.
What is your name, dear? I'm sorry.
Todd. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Todd, it's been a real pleasure to speak with you, and I'm really looking forward to coming up, and we'll give them heaven to the best of our ability.
I'm sure you will. Deedles, thanks for a few minutes with me.
Oh, you're welcome, Todd. Have a delightful day, okay?
Diane Shore performing Friday night and also Saturday afternoon at the new Field Arts and Events Hall. Tickets are still available. You can get those through their box office and go online to fieldartevents.org and get your seats. Many still available, and a great evening with Diane Shore at 70, an evening of song and stories. Now, if you would like to go, I have 2 pairs of tickets to the 4 p.m. show on Saturday to see Diane Shore. To the next 2 callers, we'll set you up a pair of tickets each. Call now at 360-457-1450. Tickets courtesy of us here at KONP and our friends at Field Arts and Events Hall.
Hey there, Dawn Reiling with Olympic Hot Tub. I'm thrilled to announce the grand opening of our newest showroom in Tacoma. Save thousands on saltwater hot spring spas. And, debuting at Olympic, endless pools, the best swim spa you can own. Take advantage of amazing savings at all 8 Puget Sound locations and take a step towards better health for you and your entire family. More at OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg salutes our military veterans, active duty, and first responders each and every day. This isn't a special or a one-time deal. 365 days a year, Red Carpet offers 10% off all services to this special group. Please let them know who you are so they can honor you. And for Purple Heart recipients, you'll receive a free wash anytime, every day. Please accept our appreciation for your service and sacrifice. Red Carpet Car Wash, open Monday through Sunday, 8 till 5.
Don't waste your money on fake, stale, rancid, or substandard olive oils. At Foghorn Olive Oil Tasting Room, our olives are picked green off the trees and processed in 2 to 4 hours and are full of antioxidants. Enhance your fresh fruits, vegetables, and proteins with our healthy and delicious olive oils, always fresh and never, ever cut with unhealthy fake oils for profit. Foghorn Olive Oil Company, open 11 to 4, Wednesday through Saturday.
Do you know when your septic system was last inspected? Clallam County Environmental Health keeps those records and can tell you. Pumping your septic and complete septic inspections by licensed professionals are 2 very different things. State law requires inspections every 1 to 3 years, depending on the system you have. Get more information about your septic system and inspection requirements by calling Clallam County Environmental Health 360-417-2258 or by logging on to clallam.net/septic.
You'll save like never before during the Customer Appreciation Sale going on now at Coastal.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
Right now, you'll find money-saving deals down every aisle during the Coastal Customer Appreciation Sale. Get a $15 gift card with in-store purchase of men's or women's Georgia work boots. Save $400 on a Rhino Metal Kodiak 57 gun safe. Plus, save on power tools, feed, jeans, and so much more with bonus Coastal Country Club member-only deals. Sign up today and enjoy the rewards. Selection may vary by store. Gift card valid with next purchase. Sign up to win a Ford F-150 during the Coastal 60th Anniversary Celebration. Sponsored in part by Quadra-Fire, Danner, Vortex, and DeWalt. Stop by or sign up to win at coastalcountry.com.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
Serving Clallam County from Bell Creek Plaza in Sequim.
Need help paying for your future path? United Way of Clallam County can help. This summer, you can schedule a free appointment with our Student Financial Aid Liaison. They can help you find funding for a program you've already chosen or walk you through options both locally and statewide. This could look like applying for a scholarship to get a commercial driver's license, all the way to applying for FAFSA or WASFA for 4-year colleges. For more information or to schedule an appointment, visit our website at tinyurl.com/United Way Financial Aid.
Last segment this afternoon, it is our business bits. That's when we have our business guru, Kevin Holt, joining us. And KevinYourBusinessCoach.com is his website, where all of his great info that he shares with us gets posted soon after we do the show.
And it does, yes.
So Kevin, we're going to jump into all sorts of things. We're even going to get into a little listener interaction later in the segment.
Yes,
but let's you wanted to do, let's see, we were going to do this. We're going to be talking about, what did you want to do? Infotainment.
Yes.
The end. Right. Okay.
We'll hit a little tech industry news that really will affect our listeners. And speaking of listeners, one asked me a question that we'll answer today, too. But yes, it turns out those new infotainment systems that cars are wrapping us with, well, I remember when a car infotainment system was an AM radio and a clock that didn't work. But, after first connecting with our cell phones, the car companies have decided, hey, this is great. Let's take it over. Let's take control of your in-vehicle experience. And so now they're using separate systems that you have to use and learn separately from your cell phone. How do customers like it? They don't. They don't like it at all. The famous J.D. Powers company did a study of overall satisfaction with in-vehicle technology. Sounds like I'm reading an advertisement there. And satisfaction is down for the first time in 20 years. We loved it until we didn't. Only half the owners surveyed actually used their vehicle's built-in systems, which they paid for dearly, unfortunately. But they don't like it for audio navigation and phone calls. So that survey suggests most people still like to use their personal smartphone for this. So just let me connect to my car. So that is really getting a big thumbs down from the motoring public.
You know what's curious about that, because I think it's GM has just announced that they're going to suspend Apple CarPlay.
Yes.
To force you to only, use their system, and that's it.
They are, and it's not working out for them. And some car manufacturers have not gone that way, and they're starting to look pretty smart.
Yeah.
So those advances, and this happens to us with technology all the time. If you're old enough, you remember quadraphonic sound. And we get this stuff shoved down our throats constantly, and it's of no use whatsoever.
You know what drives it all, though? And then we'll leave this one. Yeah, exactly, because they can sell you a subscription to all of those little things on their dashboard.
And they will. Yeah. Those will be paid apps, my friend. Yeah. And I don't know if the FTC will step in and save us, but you can see a future where they will do the same thing that the big hotels did about 10 years ago, where they just block your phone, and you have to use their system. So we'll keep an eye out for that. But while you're keeping an eye out, watch out for passing artificial intelligence. That parking or driving ticket you just got might have come courtesy of AI. And Forbes magazine reports that law enforcement has been an early adopter of artificial intelligence, and drivers are feeling the heat. Law enforcement has set up cameras in Santa Monica on city buses, and they drive through the city and just read license plates. And they identify vehicles that are parked or stopped where they shouldn't be, crank out a ticket, mail it to the address in the driver's registration, and there you go. I don't know who you call to court if you want to contest that ticket.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
That's right. It's going to be a civil rights issue, I think, as we go on. But, in Santa Monica's 45-day pilot, they identified 500 violations, each at $300. So the question is, does this mean they'll keep doing it? Well, $150,000 in 6 weeks, I think the answer is yes.
I think you got it right there, yeah.
So another part of this Forbes report is that public government data Forbes reviewed showed that at least 23 police departments and local governments across the country have purchased some form of automated license plate reader technology. And this is something that just sits somewhere where you don't see it, and it measures and reads license plates all day long. And this particular company has been collecting data from 30 states for the last 3 years, reading an average of 150 million plates a month.
And they're just storing all that data away.
But you can buy it.
And you can, right? Because the next part of their business model is sell the service, but then sell the data.
And then sell the data. And then police departments now are looking at machine learning to say, hey, we know that people we want to arrest usually go here. So bring us the names and addresses of all the people that drive in this pattern. I-95 on the East Coast, a very famous drug smuggling route, things like that. But there's a recent story of a salesperson who was arrested and car searched because he fit the traveling profile of a drug dealer. So that's where you go.
But he wasn't one, though.
No, but he drove where drug dealers drove. So he got pulled over.
Wow. Okay.
And then one more fun one, are rental cars the new Airbnb? So, hey, Todd, you got an extra car you're not using? You can become you can become a mini car rental company by using a new person-to-person car rental app. One is called Turo, the other Get Around. These platforms work just like Airbnb, creating a venue for you to rent your car to a total stranger. What could possibly go wrong?
That. I mean, at least with your house, it's tough to pick it up and move it.
Exactly. Now, I got to put a hit out on the guy, so let me rent this car and drive it over here. Well, and, the biggest challenge we might be seeing in the short term is that small-time entrepreneurs are buying vehicles now to create a rental fleet. Is this why good used cars are still so hard to find?
Oh, that's true. Now it's going to be a false...
a false market demand.
More or less, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So these platform-based entrepreneurs aim to take on giants like Hertz, Avis, and Budget, assuming they can master the difficult logistics of the rental car business. One rental entrepreneur reported he had to retrieve a car that was stolen, driven all the way up the West Coast, and abandoned at the Canadian border. Now, I just made a comment about having to do a hit on a guy because another rental car was involved in a shooting, and another one got wiped out on a wall, and that happened to have been a very high-end sports car. So hope your insurance is paid up. And by the way, like we've talked about insurance in the past, hope you've got insurance that covers you renting that car out.
I would think that's not the cheapest kind of insurance either, would it be?
Right? And I would think that nobody thinks of that until their renter cracks up the car.
Yeah.
And so that's one of those things. Parking them, cleaning them, insurance, financing, vehicles need to be picked up, dropped off, maintained, and repaired. And that's going to eat up any money you make. Yep. But people are going to try it because it's the latest iteration of gig work, which is, kind of a suspect piece of our economy right now. And some people who started these side hustles are now moving into this and trying to manage a fleet of rental cars. Now, this could be an example of Kevin's number one small business startup risk, an entrepreneur who doesn't know what they don't know.
I think in the face of it, people look at it and go, that's a passive income stream in a way.
Well, no, that's the magic phrase. You see it on every get rich quick scheme now, or get rich. That is, hey, it's a passive income stream, man. You just sit at home and count your money.
And your car would have been just parked anyway.
That's right.
So
you're not using
put it to work when you're not using it.
Make money with your idle car. That's right.
Wow. Okay.
Or get in legal trouble and insurance trouble and lose your bottom. Yeah. So I was reminded that very few startups are really ready when a listener approached me at the grocery store. I wear a pretty distinctive hat. People know me. And my wife's business helps with that. But they popped up and said, hey, we listened to your 7 Secrets of Small Business Success series. And thank you very much. And her husband was interested in starting a business. And she said, when do we know we're ready to get started? I think it's a very good question. The bad news is that almost nobody is ready when they get their idea because they're thinking about the idea, not the total picture. The problem is, like I just said, is we don't know what we don't know when we enter any new field. It doesn't really matter if you're starting a new hobby or you're starting a new business. You don't know what you don't know. And that can be the most common reason a small business fails. People talk about all kinds of reasons their businesses failed, but when you get right down to the core cause, it's because they encountered something they weren't expecting, because they didn't know what they didn't know. However, you can start your journey to personal readiness today, right now. No license, no registration, no applications, and no personal guarantees. No leases, no tech team, and no rental software. So your first step is acceptance. This is just like a 12-step program.
I was going to say, it's steps of grief in some ways,
right.
maybe. Yeah.
You have to accept your powerlessness over not knowing what you don't know and accept it. And then say, okay, now I'm ready to go into this area of looking for what I don't know and learning what I don't know. You don't have to know everything. Nobody can. But you have to be ready to learn these new things that you're going to learn, and you have to be sure not to make such a great commitment to yourself going some direction that you haven't properly explored. But to go back, you can start working on your vision of success right now. You can look for market opportunities and attractive segments today. You can start challenging yourself to work outside your comfort zone this week. You can do all these things right away. You can check dollars. You can see if your idea makes dollars just sitting in your living room with a piece of paper. You should have started building your personal network months ago. And if you have your personal network, you can start building your team. And now that you've got all these things going for you, you can start being on the lookout for unexpected good luck. And all that happens right now, no charge, immediately, and you're in control of it. And also looking back at getting money to start, you can start on your path to fundability right away, too. You can avoid misconceptions, get your financial house in order, and start searching for the sources that you're going to slot into your personal funding portfolio. So the idea is to step back, take a breath, just like we talked about in the business plan series. This isn't a race. If you're afraid you're going to lose your market segment if you don't start tomorrow, pick a different one. You can have business ideas all day long. Take your best idea forward, or take your idea forward and let it prove that it's your best idea. Because often people will go forward with their first idea. They make commitments that weld them to that first idea. And when they learn what the market's really like, they can't pivot to that demand because they've put all their eggs in whatever basket they thought they were going to market with. So like I said, you don't need to know everything to be ready. You just need to know that you don't know what you don't know.
Right. And you know what? I think that probably that's the story of your entire career.
It really is.
Isn't it?
Yep.
Because every day could be a day where you don't know what you don't know.
It's almost every day, that's for sure. And on the rare exceptions when that doesn't happen, it's a great day. But I looked back at my career and I said, you know what? I actually did it 1,000 clients, 10,000 hours of business advising, $10 million of money raised. And the theme is always the same. Through all of those people and all of that time and all of that money, it's helping people come to grips with the fact that they need to be more open-minded and be prepared to move forward in a cautious manner so that they can be ready for those discoveries when they make them, rather than discovering them after they've already sunk everything to where they didn't want to go.
Yeah, very good. All right, next week. What are we going to do next week?
We're going to look at the pernicious perils of the food business.
Oh.
What happens when you try to upmarket your special sauce from the farmer's market to the supermarket? Many of my clients have tried to make that journey. Who made it, who didn't, and why?
Yeah, what worked, what didn't, right?
Exactly. We'll talk about that next week. It's a series of surprises, and none of them are good.
Yes. We have a couple minutes. I know you weren't going to talk about this because we didn't think we have time, but let's just quickly on Twitter.
Oh, gosh,
I got to get your take on the X factor here. What in the world is Elon Musk thinking?
Well, to read the end at the beginning, I think X is Musk's way of saying, I'm getting beat so bad I'm taking my ball and going home.
You think so? Okay.
Zuckerberg already beat one billionaire. Rupert Murdoch bought MySpace, a super hot platform back in the early 2000s.
Yeah. Now what's that?
Yes. They bought it for $580. Facebook ate their lunch. They sold it for $35 million, 6% of what they bought it for. When Musk bought Twitter, that's when they say Zuckerberg decided to bring his micro-blogging platform to the market. And many people have tried to start a new platform like this, including a former billionaire U.S. president, and nobody got over 5 million users. Threads, Zuckerberg's microblog, got 100 million users in 10 days.
Right.
And so Musk threatened to sue him.
What's your thought, though, a little bit, because it's kind of plateaued out, and it looks at, here's what I have a theory. I think that a lot of this is just sitting quietly now. It's collect a bunch of people, get them plugged in, and at some point there'll be like almost a secondary launch or a push that will actually get this thing off the ground, because a lot of folks have said, well, it's not real active on the Threads
absolutely
thing,
everybody
like
signed
Twitter.
up,
and they're just kind of sitting there.
Because they don't know what's next. But
and that's what I'm saying, there's going to be a what's next, perhaps.
I'm sure there will be. And with Zuckerberg, that's exactly how Facebook worked. It just kind of sat there. First it was used at a university, and then it was released to the public, and everybody built up their friends, and nothing really, they didn't even do advertising on it. And then all of a sudden, boom, all these different revenue opportunities were brought in, and the volume really grew. And I think you'll also see that right now behind the scenes, Meta Facebook is recruiting different leaders to become generators of content and traffic. But no question, while he did pull in that enormous number, all the news this week has been, well, there's not that much going on. But, there doesn't really need to be.
That's what I'm saying. That's not necessarily, I mean, I'm almost thinking it could be by design a little bit. Just let it sleep into what's going to happen next.
And he learned from his tangle with Rupert Murdoch, let this other guy flail. And just sit quietly while the other guy flails, because Murdoch thought he was going to beat MTV, and he was going to fold in Fox News, and he was going to merge with Yahoo, which was a thing back then, and none of it came to be. So I think you just sit back and it's one of the 36 Chinese stratagems. Let your enemy flail himself doing something else, and then you go in when he's exhausted.
I think regardless, it's stupid to change the name because we're so ingrained with tweets and Twitter and all of that stuff. Just leave it alone.
Well, there are people that are talking about a shareholder lawsuit.
Because he changed the name on it?
It's not because he changed the name. He gutted the value.
Yeah.
And so that ruins their investment worth.
Right, yeah. When I had a Twitter, it had certain panache. Right?
How am I going to sell X on the stock market?
Yeah.
It used to be Twitter. Who can sell something that used to be for what they paid for it?
Elon loves X.
He
SpaceX,
sure does.
his Tunnel X. He's got everything's got an X in it. So.
There's no X in Hyperloop. I wonder why they've never built one.
Oh, that's a good point. All right. Kevin, it's always great to talk
Pleasure.
to you.
Thank you.
We'll do it next week. And again, if you want more advice and all of the notes from the shows, Kevin, yourbusinesscoach.com is the website to hit.
I'll be there.
It's not an X. It's not
no, sir.
thread.
No X's involved.
It's its own thing. And we'll take a break, and news is coming up next.
Did you know that the Co-op Farm and Garden has an extensive selection of doodads, thingamabobbers, doohickeys, and actual nuts and bolts and screws? The Co-op makes fixing something at home as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Go into the store with said doodad that needs replaced. 2. Ask a vested crusader to help you locate it. 3. Go home and confidently attach the gizmo to the gadget. The Co-op Farm and Garden knows it all, so you don't have to. Shop the Co-op Farm and Garden in Squim for all your whoozy-whatsy needs.
What if you could be a part of something bigger than yourself? Something meaningful. Something that's helped shape the lives of men for over 300 years. What if you could transform not just your own purpose, but your entire community? As the leading fraternal organization in the world, we unite men of good character who share a belief in the brotherhood of mankind. More than a man, a Mason. Visit freemason-wa.org.
Sponsored by the Grand Lodge of Washington and aired in cooperation with the Washington State Association of Broadcasters and this station.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom! I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Extreme heat around the world, scientists say, will make July the hottest on record ever. The UN Secretary General says the era of global warming has ended and the era of global boiling has arrived. Here in the U.S., triple-digit temperatures stretching coast to coast. In Arizona, residents are used to hot, but not the nearly month-long heat wave that just won't let up.
Oh my God, this is hell on earth, I guess. It's just that hot.
Dorothy and Gary Vason have lived in the Phoenix area for nearly 20 years.
And this is probably the worst July we ever had.
For almost a month, the days have been over 110 degrees. Many of the nights have not gotten below 90, and Arizonans are saying enough with the heat.
This is unreal. Day, night. Never seen anything like it.
Maricopa County, home to Phoenix, reporting this week 25 deaths in total from the heat this year. 9 of the 25 were homeless. Close to 250 more deaths are being investigated.
Alex Stone, ABC News.
President Biden detailing plans today to help combat the heat. It includes hazard warnings for businesses and protections for workers. Attorneys for former President Trump met with the special counsel investigating Trump's alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election today. The grand jury hearing evidence in the case also convened. ABC News legal contributor Kimberly Whaley says it means the investigation is close to wrapping up.
Donald Trump's lawyers received the target letter, which of course a target means that there's a bullseye on Donald Trump's back from this grand jury. He's not a witness. He's not sort of somebody of interest. There are charges that could be actually contemplated here. So the letter also gave his lawyers an opportunity to present him to the grand jury. They declined that.
Trump in a social media post called his attorney's meeting, quote, productive. The nation's gross domestic product, or GDP, beating expectations. The economy grew 2.4% last quarter. You're listening to ABC News.
Attention taxpayers, ready for some bad news? With $80 billion in new funding from Congress, the IRS has launched their most aggressive hiring campaign ever to ramp up enforcement. If you're ignoring your taxes, don't delay another